All right, folks. I think this is my first video that I'm going to make based off of Gothix, who I think Polar Bear is the one of my followers who turned me on to checking out her channel, and yep, love her channel, man. So let's let the video speak for itself. Let's go.
It's disappointing that I need to make this video for two reasons. One being because it's 9 o'clock at night and I don't feel like putting on makeup, so I'm gonna do this entire video with no eyebrows, so tough luck. As I mentioned in my first video, it's not a secret that racism is a hot topic. So hot that many people depend on keeping racism alive to earn a living or to achieve power. Of course, they're not gonna tell you this for...
Well, I mean, Charles Barkley also brought it up too, that the Democrats are doing everything they can to keep y'all distracted with bullshit. They're profiting off of this fake racism and shit. Because if it was real, why aren't we calling out everybody else's racism? I've been saying this for years, especially even before I created this channel on my Facebook page. I've been talking about Asian racism. The majority of the racism I ever got growing up, yes, from the Klan and shit, skinheads and shit back home in Norfolk, but the majority of it was from blacks. Second, Asians. Asians, their parents, grandparents, oh man, yeah. Even a lot of the people my age at that time were racist as shit. Then whites. Whites came in third. But let's go ahead and keep going.
Obvious reasons, but I assure you that these folks do not give a damn about you.
Nope.
Hi, my name is Gothix, and today we're discussing Stop Asian Hate because, well, the media tells us we should be focused on this, just like they do when they tell us to focus on any other story when they frame their coverage to support a narrative that they want to push, just as they did with George Floyd or generally any incident that involves a black victim and a white suspect.
Yep.
Going back to my original question, I asked you which of these names seemed familiar. If you were outraged about George Floyd, then you should be equally outraged to learn about Tony Timpa, a 32-year-old man who died by the hands of police officers. Did I mention that the officers were also kneeling on him? But if you look at the coverage surrounding Tony Timpa, it's clear that the story wasn't treated in the same way as the coverage surrounding George Floyd. Race isn't mentioned anywhere in the story, and of course, Tony's death didn't spark international outrage. In case you haven't figured it out yet, race hustlers are not specific to black issues. There was recently a mass shooting in Georgia, and we can see how quickly the media labeled this incident as a hate crime fueled by white supremacy. But if
I was going to talk about it at that time, but I was moving stuff around and just a lot of things that, that I saw. Some of these may be a little, like, couple of weeks out of date, technically. But the topics, are still on point, whether it's back then or years down the road. It's still the fucking Democratic media and these fucking media sources that are controlling everything, pushing a narrative. They're going out of their way doing it.
If you learned anything in my original video, then you should know that the media's job is to report the news, and they're not in charge of homicide investigations. So why would the media outlets trying to link this case to racism, even though it was determined that the motive behind the incident was due to a sexual addiction? And regardless of how disgusting that is to hear, a sexual addiction is very different from targeting someone specifically because of their race. Not too long after that incident, we had a situation in Colorado where, once again, many people were quick to conclude that this was yet another display of white supremacy. Now, I get a lot of harsh criticisms from people that think my videos are hateful towards black people.
I get that all the time on my Facebook, as well as starting to on this channel. No, my whole thing is if the shoe fits, that's it. I'm going to call out everything that, again, if the shoe fits, that's what I'm going to call out. You don't like it, well, then don't fucking do it. Don't put the shoe on to where it fits. Don't put it on. If you don't want the shoe to fit, don't put the motherfucker on.
Or I'm just telling white people the things that they want to hear, despite me sharing factual information which
they don't like
can
facts.
easily be accessed online by a toddler. The taste of free publicity, especially when it comes from my critics. But I digress. My point being, never in my life did I think my mom hated me for telling me I dressed like a slob or I was slacking in school. How do you fix something if you don't know it's broken? Would you rather be lied to? If so, you're watching.
Yeah, and that's exactly what these people want. They want the lie. They want the lie. As long as it makes them happy, as long as it fits their narrative, they want the lie. If it tells the truth, especially over something that but I like this. How are you telling me the truth about it? Oh yeah, they'll lose their shit.
Watching the wrong channel. The truth is, 27% of violent offenders against Asian victims are black, compared to 24% for white offenders. And regardless if you want to believe those stats,
also, all the videos that are coming out that the media is doing everything they can to hide it, something I also talked about on this channel before everybody else did. As a matter of fact, I got called out by my Asian friends. And it's like, you know goddamn well that your fucking parents and grandparents were racist as shit. It's like, motherfucker, I don't even know how you're friends with so many black people now when you were racist as fuck. I don't know what you're talking about. Me and my family were never racist. What? Dude, you use the N-word numerous times in a derogatory way. What do you mean? I don't remember that. But if you say I did, then I apologize. I may have some memory issues due to the military and shit, but that's not one of the things that I have a problem with my memory. I know this for a fact. But whatever.
that's because you're desperate to blame everything on white supremacy. You're not entitled to your own reality.
Nope.
And before you accuse me of creating more division by pointing out...
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, okay, so you're telling the truth, but you're creating more divisiveness by telling that truth. So you want lies? These people want to live so desperately in a fantasy world. Makes no goddamn sense to me. I play fantasy games, but I sure as hell don't fucking live there.
Facts that are easily accessible to the public, let me be clear that lying and deliberately spreading propaganda actually creates more division. And I know what you're gonna say. Trump ignited all this division.
No, he didn't. This shit started before Obama left office. And you gotta remember, Hillary was supposed to win, remember? They expected Hillary to win, but she didn't. So no. Remember the Kenosha and all that shit? That all started when Obama was president. Black Lives Matter started while Obama was still president. So, again, facts. Fuck your feelings.
In the country because he used things like China virus or Wuhan virus when referencing COVID-19. And you already know my stance on political correctness, but by that logic, if he created more division by using those not politically correct terms, then I would think the media is equally as guilty, are they not?
The Wuhan coronavirus. We have new information about how the Wuhan coronavirus is spread.
Tying coronavirus to China and Chinese people isn't just a racist dog whistle. It's a whole racist orchestra. It's a mighty, mighty racist bass tone.
I hear Stephen Miller in this foreign virus, setting up travel bans for the outside invasion of the disease. That's not the way
Chinese coronavirus that they've been
that's
calling
not
it. The first U.S. case of Chinese coronavirus.
The Chinese
coronavirus. This is coming as the Chinese coronavirus.
China's coronavirus outbreak.
And if we compare the news coverage
Yeah. But until Trump said those words, oh my God, he's trying to create racism. But again, you Democrats are so fucking stupid. She literally just played the evidence, played that everybody was calling it the China fucking Wuhan virus. But the moment Trump said it, oh my God, he's being a racist. And that's when they all stopped saying it. Y'all do realize when the information is out there, it's already out there. It's already out there. You didn't exactly hide anything, but okay, whatever.
surrounding violence against Asians, as we did in my previous video for violence against blacks, once again, we can see a trend. It's disappointing that I need to make this video for two reasons. One being because it's 9 o'clock at night
shoot.
and I don't feel
That's
like
what
putting
happened.
on makeup, so I'm gonna do this entire video with
Didn't realize it was gonna do
a
that.
horrific daytime attack caught on video in San Francisco. Interesting. No mention of the suspect's race. All right, let's move on. 3 arrested in beating and robbery of Asian man in San Francisco laundromat. No mention of the suspect's race. Suspect arrested for brutally attacking 2 Asian men in San Francisco. Oh, and big surprise, no mention of suspect's race.
Nope.
And what's interesting about this is the second the media catches wind of a white offender or someone that can at least pass as white for committing a crime against a person of color, rest assured, you'll know what the suspect looks like. And if we consider all the anti-white rhetoric that's been brewing through entertainment, education, and diversity training, it's very clear what agenda is being pushed. Because if the media overlords truly cared about fighting racism, then they wouldn't cherry pick which cases they report as hate crimes depending on what color the suspects are. Or is this where the black people can't be racist excuse comes in?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that constantly keeps coming up. Blacks can't be racist. Oh, they can't? Blacks... Yeah, blacks can be very fucking racist. But anyway, keep going.
What's the public outrage for affirmative action policies that systemically discriminate against Asians? Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, it's actually harder for Asians to get into elite schools such as Yale. On average, Asians tend to do very well academically, so in the name of diversity, school admissions boards have made it harder for Asians to get accepted in order to make room for other people, even if they're not doing as well academically. It's also worth noting.
So again, it doesn't matter about the job. Doesn't matter who's best for the job. No. We can give a fuck less about who's best for the job. No, we're just going to give it to them because of their skin color, which affirmative action and all that shit should be thrown away. There's no point to it anymore. None.
That affirmative action policies lead to low grades and high dropout rates for black students. Don't believe me? Look it up. Although I don't think you need a fact checker to tell you that accepting a student who has less than favorable grades into an elite school puts them at a disadvantage, which is why I'm always critical about the policy. You really want to help someone? Encourage them to study more or get a tutor instead of making the goal easier to achieve.
Right.
Guys, I'm being serious.
You really want a doctor who's only a doctor because of affirmative action? Even though their grades were fucking, like, they basically only went by on a 2.5 GPA? That's the doctor you want?
Serious right now. If you're a critic of my videos and you find my content to be white supremacist talking points, seek help immediately. Take your feelings off the table and actively listen to what I'm saying. You are being manipulated. Make no mistake. This divide that we're seeing in America is deliberate, and it's fueled in part by the media.
Oh, no, not in part, in whole by the media. They're the ones that everybody's watching. So it's in whole, not in part, in whole by the media. Charles Barkley said it best.
And if you still think I'm full of shit, try this out for an experiment. The next time a story is reported, pay attention to how the coverage is framed. What circumstances do they mention race? Are they labeling something a hate crime long before a formal investigation has been completed? Is there evidence that contradicts the narrative that's being pushed?
Yes.
Like the data I showed you at the beginning of this video. And most importantly, pay attention to which media outlets constantly race bait their articles. Do they lean more on the right or the left or both? I already know.
Who cares? Just report the goddamn news. Just report the fucking news. Seriously.
The answers to all of these questions, but I'm not going to tell you. You know why? Because as I said earlier, I don't believe in making things easier for people. You can research. You got fingers. You got a brain.
No, they don't have a brain. They don't have a brain. But anyway, yeah, we already know that, but none of this matters anymore. None of it. None of it fucking matters anymore. All hell is about to break loose anyway, in Russia, China, and all that shit anyway. All hell's about to break loose, so none of this, race baiting bullshit is about to matter. Once Russia or China, whoever attacks first over there, whoever's like, they're probably Rochambeau over there and shit, like, hey, who's gonna attack first? Let's flip for it. It's not going to matter. None of this race baiting, none of this George Floyd, none of this shit's going to matter when all hell breaks loose. None of it. So, y'all can believe whatever y'all want. You fucking Democrats and stupid soy boys and feminazis and shit. Y'all can believe whatever you want. All hell's about to break loose. But, anyway,